What if the person who loves you most deeply is the very person you were never meant to keep? What if the greatest love story of your life was designed to change you, not stay with you? Today, we will uncover the painful truth behind a love that is genuine, powerful, and life-changing, yet somehow destined to remain incomplete. And by the end, you'll understand why some of the strongest connections are never meant to become permanent. If this message resonates with your experience, take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share in the comments. Have you ever loved someone deeply, but knew they could never truly be yours? Your story may help someone else understand their own journey. One of the most difficult truths to accept is that love and destiny are not always moving in the same direction. We are often taught that if two people truly love each other, they will eventually find a way to be together. Yet life repeatedly shows us a different reality. Sometimes two hearts meet with undeniable affection, genuine care, and profound emotional connection. But circumstances, timing, personal growth, or deeper psychological forces create a path that separates them rather than unites them. When someone loves you deeply, their feelings can be completely authentic. They may think of you constantly, wish for your happiness, and feel a bond that reaches beyond ordinary attraction. However, love alone cannot erase every obstacle. People are shaped by their fears, responsibilities, ambitions, wounds, and unconscious patterns. These hidden forces often influence decisions more strongly than emotions themselves. As a result, two people can stand face to face with love in their hearts, while still finding themselves unable to build a shared future. The painful part is that the mind searches for a reason, believing that if the love was real, the outcome should have been different. But not every meaningful connection is meant to become a permanent relationship. Some relationships exist to awaken something within us, to reveal our strengths, expose our vulnerabilities, and guide us toward a deeper understanding of ourselves. The love remains real, the feelings remain meaningful, and the impact remains lasting, even when the relationship itself cannot continue in the form we once imagined. Some people enter our lives and leave an imprint so profound that it feels impossible to explain through ordinary logic. Their presence awakens emotions, dreams, fears, and possibilities that may have remained hidden for years. We often assume that such a powerful connection must be leading toward a lasting relationship. Yet there are times when its true purpose is something entirely different. Not every soul-stirring encounter is meant to become a permanent partnership. Some are meant to become a catalyst for transformation. A relationship can feel intensely meaningful because it activates parts of the self that have been sleeping beneath the surface. Through another person, we may discover courage we never knew we possessed, confront insecurities we have long avoided, or recognize desires that have been buried under routine and expectation. The connection becomes a mirror, reflecting both our strengths and our unresolved struggles. In this sense, the relationship serves a psychological purpose that extends far beyond romance. This is why certain people remain unforgettable, even when the relationship ends. Their importance was never limited to what happened between the two of you. Their deeper role was to initiate growth. They arrived at a specific moment, disrupted old patterns, challenged familiar beliefs, and encouraged a new chapter of self-discovery. The pain of losing them often comes from believing their purpose was to stay forever, when in reality, their purpose may have been to awaken something essential within you. What makes these connections so powerful is not their duration, but their ability to change the direction of a life, leaving lessons and insights that continue to unfold long after the person is gone. One of the greatest sources of confusion in matters of the heart is the tendency to mistake emotional attachment for genuine growth. When we feel intensely connected to someone, we often assume that the strength of our feelings automatically means the relationship is right for us. Yet emotional attachment and personal evolution are not always the same thing. In fact, there are times when the person we feel most attached to is the very person who challenges us to move beyond our current version of ourselves. Attachment is often rooted in desire, longing, familiarity, and the need for emotional security. It seeks closeness and fears separation. Growth, on the other hand, frequently requires uncertainty, discomfort, and change. This creates a painful paradox. A person may feel emotionally indispensable while simultaneously pushing us toward lessons we would never choose voluntarily. The relationship becomes both comforting and unsettling, fulfilling and frustrating, inspiring and painful. Many people remain trapped in relationships because they confuse the intensity of their attachment with evidence that they are meant to stay. They focus on how deeply they feel, rather than on what the relationship is teaching them. Yet some connections are valuable precisely because they reveal hidden fears, unmet needs, and unconscious patterns. They force us to confront aspects of ourselves that have long remained in the shadows. The true purpose of such a connection may not be lifelong companionship, but self-awareness. The relationship becomes a doorway through which greater understanding emerges. While attachment asks, "How can I keep this person?" growth asks, "What am I becoming because I met this person?" And that question often leads to discoveries far more significant than the relationship itself. There is a unique kind of pain that comes from a love that remains unfinished. It lingers in the mind, returns in quiet moments, and leaves behind questions that seem impossible to answer. Yet beneath that sorrow lies something unexpected. Unfulfilled love has a remarkable ability to reveal hidden parts of the self. It exposes emotions, desires, fears, and truths that might otherwise remain buried beneath the routines of everyday life. When a relationship does not reach the future we imagined, the mind naturally turns inward. We begin to examine what the connection meant, why it affected us so deeply, and what its absence now reveals about us. In this process, parts of our inner world come into focus. We may discover how much we fear abandonment, how strongly we seek validation, or how deeply we long to be understood. These realizations can be uncomfortable, but they are also valuable because they bring unconscious patterns into awareness. Unfulfilled love often acts like a mirror. Instead of simply showing us the other person, it reflects aspects of ourselves that we rarely acknowledge. The qualities we admired in them may point to qualities we wish to develop within ourselves. The wounds triggered by the relationship may reveal unresolved experiences from the past. Even the intensity of our longing can teach us something about our emotional needs and expectations. This is why certain heartbreaks become turning points. The loss itself is painful, but the insights it produces can be transformative. What initially appears to be only disappointment gradually becomes a source of deeper self-knowledge, revealing dimensions of identity and emotional truth that could not have been discovered in any other way. One of the most overlooked realities in love is that timing can be more powerful than feelings. Two people may care for each other deeply, feel a rare connection, and genuinely wish to build a future together, yet still find themselves unable to make the relationship work. This does not necessarily mean the love was weak or insincere. Sometimes the obstacle is not the absence of feeling, but the circumstances surrounding the people involved. Human beings are constantly evolving. At different stages of life, priorities, responsibilities, ambitions, and emotional readiness can vary dramatically. One person may be focused on healing old wounds, while the other is ready to settle into a committed relationship. One may be pursuing a life-changing opportunity, while the other seeks stability and permanence. Even when affection is present, these differences in timing can create distance that love alone cannot bridge. This truth is difficult to accept because the heart naturally believes that strong feelings should overcome every challenge. Yet life often operates according to a more complex pattern. A relationship requires not only emotional connection, but also alignment in growth, readiness, and direction. When those elements are missing, even the deepest affection can struggle to survive. Many people spend years wondering what went wrong, searching for flaws in themselves or in the relationship. However, the answer is sometimes much simpler. The connection may have been genuine, but the moment was not. The paths of two individuals may have crossed at a time when they could inspire, support, and transform one another, but not remain together. In such cases, the tragedy is not a lack of love. It is the reality that love arrived before or after the conditions needed for it to fully flourish. Some people enter our lives with such intensity that we cannot imagine them ever leaving. Their presence feels meaningful from the very beginning, as though an invisible thread has connected our paths for a reason. We naturally assume that a connection this powerful must be leading toward permanence. Yet there are times when a person's true purpose is not to remain with us forever, but to guide us through a period of profound transformation. These individuals often arrive during moments of uncertainty, transition, or emotional struggle. Without fully realizing it, they challenge the beliefs we hold about ourselves and the world. Through conversations, experiences, and emotional closeness, they awaken possibilities we had never considered. They encourage us to grow beyond limitations that once seemed permanent. In many ways, they become catalysts for change rather than companions for the entire journey. The difficulty lies in accepting that someone's importance is not measured by how long they stay. Society often teaches us that successful relationships last forever, but this perspective overlooks the value of temporary connections. A person can alter the course of your life in a matter of months and leave behind lessons that continue shaping you for decades. Their influence may become woven into your character, your choices, and your understanding of yourself. When such a relationship ends, it is easy to view the ending as a failure. However, that interpretation may miss the deeper meaning of the experience. The relationship may have fulfilled its purpose completely. It may have arrived to awaken courage, reveal hidden strengths, expose unresolved wounds, or inspire a new direction in life. Their role was not necessarily to walk beside you forever, but to help you become the person you were meant to be. One of the most misunderstood acts in love is letting go. Many people view it as surrender, rejection, or proof that the feelings were never strong enough. Yet there are moments when holding on causes more harm than releasing someone with care and understanding. In such situations, letting go becomes one of the purest expressions of love, because it places growth, truth, and well-being above personal desire. The ego often wants possession. It wants certainty, closeness, and the comfort of knowing that the person we love will remain within reach. Love, however, operates on a deeper level. Genuine love recognizes that another person has their own path, their own struggles, and their own destiny. Sometimes that path does not align with ours, no matter how much affection exists between us. To acknowledge this reality requires emotional maturity and tremendous inner strength. Letting go does not mean the feelings disappear. In many cases, the feelings remain powerful for a long time. What changes is the decision to stop forcing an outcome that no longer serves either person. Instead of clinging to what cannot be sustained, one chooses acceptance. This acceptance creates space for healing, growth, and a deeper understanding of what the relationship truly meant. There is a quiet dignity in loving someone enough to release them when circumstances demand it. Rather than turning love into control, resentment, or endless struggle, letting go honors the connection for what it was. It allows the relationship to remain meaningful without demanding that it continue forever. In this way, the end of a relationship is not always the opposite of love. Sometimes it is love expressed in its most selfless and courageous form. The deepest heartbreaks often leave wounds that seem impossible to understand while they are happening. They shake our sense of certainty, disrupt our plans, and force us to confront emotions we would rather avoid. In those moments, the pain feels meaningless, as though something precious has been taken away without explanation. Yet with time and reflection, many people discover that their most painful heartbreaks contained lessons that transformed their understanding of themselves and of life itself. A profound loss has a way of breaking through illusions. It reveals where we placed our identity, where we sought validation, and what expectations we carried into relationships. When the relationship ends, those hidden assumptions rise to the surface. What initially feels like destruction often becomes an invitation to deeper awareness. The heartbreak exposes emotional patterns that may have operated unconsciously for years. This process is rarely comfortable. The mind prefers certainty, while heartbreak forces uncertainty. The heart seeks attachment, while loss demands release. Yet within this struggle lies the potential for growth. People often emerge from significant heartbreak with greater emotional wisdom, stronger boundaries, and a clearer understanding of what they truly need in a relationship. They begin to recognize the difference between fantasy and reality, between dependency and genuine connection. The paradox is that the experiences we would never willingly choose sometimes become the experiences that teach us the most. A painful ending can reveal strengths that were previously unknown and inspire personal growth that might never have occurred otherwise. What appears at first to be only suffering gradually becomes a source of insight, resilience, and self-discovery, turning heartbreak into one of life's most powerful teachers. So, if there is one truth to carry with you from this journey, it is that not every great love is meant to become a lasting relationship. Sometimes a person enters your life not to stay forever, but to awaken something within you that could not have emerged any other way. Their love may be real, their feelings may be genuine, and the connection may be unforgettable. Yet the deeper purpose of the relationship may lie beyond permanence. We often measure love by whether two people remain together. But life does not always follow that definition. Some loves are meant to teach, to transform, to heal, and to reveal hidden parts of the soul. They arrive at the right moment, leave their mark, and then continue living within us as wisdom rather than companionship. What feels like an ending may actually be the completion of a profound inner journey. If someone loved you and yet was never meant to stay, that does not diminish the value of what you shared. The connection was not a mistake. The lessons were not meaningless. The memories were not wasted. Every moment contributed to the person you are becoming. And perhaps the greatest act of maturity is recognizing that love does not lose its significance simply because it could not last forever. Some people are chapters, not entire books. Some are bridges, not destinations. And sometimes the most beautiful love stories are not the ones that continue endlessly, but the ones that change us so deeply that we never become the same person again.